Hello and welcome back to another video. Now I haven't got long today because it is very late. It's gone 4 o'clock. I've been at work all morning. And usually on days like this I don't bother filming. I'll just come here, do a couple of hours work and then scurry off about and do whatever I do in the evenings. But I've decided I'm going to try and film as much as I possibly can now so that I can get as much content out on my YouTube channel as possible. I want to grow my YouTube channel, grow my following, and hopefully by doing that I won't have to go to work anymore. I can actually earn a living from YouTube. It is possible, apparently. Who'd have thought it? But anyway, so I'm going to try and film as much as I possibly can. And if you are new around here and you enjoy what I film and enjoy the content I put out, then please do consider subscribing to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Now with all that out of the way, what am I going to do with the few hours that I have remaining today? I'm going to try and make a start on finishing this wall off. All my switches are going to go there, and this wall is actually going to be built, or I'm going to build this wall out of quite thick ply, and the reason I'm going to do that is so that I can put shelves up, attach things to the wall without any stress or worry about stuff falling down. Maybe I can put a spice rack there, God forbid I even know what spices do what. We'll leave that to Rebecca, she knows about cooking. But anyway, Rebecca can have her spice racks there, I can have my tool rack there, God forbid, light switches and all that good stuff. Now originally I was going to use this as a backsplash and have a nice little shelf along here, but because there goes another piece, this isn't going too well, is it? But because I've decided now to build this wall out of thick ply so I can hang stuff upon it, it means I can actually cut this to fit and extend my work surface so it's nice and flat with no obstructions along the back. Mind me switch, that's for me cooker. So first thing I'm going to do today, hopefully in the few hours that I have remaining of today, is finish off this work surface. If I can retrieve that piece that just fell down the back here, because I actually need this. Come here. Because I've cut these floorboards the right length, all I need to do is trim a bit off of these so that they then lay nice and flat, extending my work surface. This will give me a little bit more work area, as it were. I just think it'll make a neater job, to be honest. After all, who needs plugs? Because originally I was going to have this like this so I could have plug sockets along here, like 240 volt plug sockets built into this, but to be honest we don't need them. So that let's get on, measure this all up and slice some of this off, and hopefully it's going to be too difficult to tuck this down and under, and most importantly seal it as well. Let me tape measure. perfect. Time we trim it. Time I put some sealant in there. It's just that much more, but it makes the whole work surface seem that much bigger. Yeah, I think I made the right choice to do this. Right, one more piece, and this is going to be a pain. Oh. Right, so I've neatened up these cables before placing the last piece, and I'm not going to glue this last piece in. I'm simply going to rest it in there like that. It clicks in nice, because I do need to add some more cables to this. These cables are just my solar panel cables, Wi-Fi and security camera cables. That's all they do. These cables are purely for my lights, and that is it. The rest of the cables that need to come up here, I need one for my fuel gauge, not my fuel gauge, my freshwater tank gauge has got to come here. I want that next to the cooker. So I'll have the cooker controller here and the freshwater gauge right next to it. So every time we look at this, we instinctively look at our freshwater gauge. And next to that, a 240 volt plug socket. So when I put my air fryer here, I can simply plug the air fryer in. Yeah, and that is it. That's all I'm going to have on this panel. It's around about 6 o'clock in the evening now, so I'm going to finish for the day. I'm going to need to tidy up everything before I leave. That will give this glue plenty of time to dry, and then tomorrow I've got a full free day. I can then start finishing off all of this. Hopefully fit my light switches. I've got some really special light switches as well. They are the nuts. But to see those, you're just going to have to carry on watching. I'll see you in the morning. Good night. Does that even work? I'm still here. Hang on, it's still the same day. How comes it works for other YouTubers, not me? Oh, I cut that too short, didn't I? Let's take a little look, see how my glue has dried. I've just realised I've made a mistake though. I'm quite pissed that I've made a mistake. I'll explain in a minute. Let's just take this off of here. Oh, it's getting a bit messy in here. Yeah, that's nice and flat, nice and level. Brilliant. Right. So, what I've done wrong, or what I forgot to do, before gluing this down, I should have run a cable from here, where the lights are, or the light switches are going to be, underneath the desk, all the way along, up this wall here, into that gap, so that I can have power going to the shower for the light. I completely forgot. I'm hoping, because there is a bit of a gap down here. Oh, I don't know. No, oh, I think I'm going to be able to do it. I was going to say, I'm hoping I'll be able to still thread a piece of wire down there. I don't think. Oh, because no, it's not going to work. So I guess the only other option is to run the cable along the top of here. I hope it doesn't snag on anything. Right, let's find the cable. There's my box. Well, with a lot of cursing and swearing, I managed to get the cable in so it goes through the hole, which, by the way, I put tanking over, so it took me forever to find it. Lots of cursing, lots of swearing. Going to edit all of that out of the video. Lots of sawdust later. The cable now runs down behind this panel, underneath the worktop, and up where my switch panel is going to be. All I need to do now is add a little tag to it, shower light, so I know that that is what that cable is for. So that's one cable done. It's a little bit long, but that's alright. That's the last bit on the roll as well, of the thinner wire. The other roll I brought was this rather large wire. What thickness is this? 12 gauge. Yeah, it's a bit heavy duty, that. Perfect for our water pump though. So I think while I've got this in my hand, I'm going to run the wires for the water pump, because they need to come up to my control panel as well, because I need to be able to switch the water pump off when I'm not in the van. I do like to fit a switch to the water pumps, especially these automatic ones that sense difference in pressure. So if you get a water leak and your water pump is still powered, then your water pump will switch on and flood your entire van. Always a good idea to isolate that water pump. And I know this because of my experience. When I was in Australia, a friend of mine left his water pump powered, and it was the water pump that made the toilet flush. The toilet system got stuck, so the pump kept pumping. I don't know what happened, but his boat basically filled up with water and it sunk. All because his water pump carried on going. Because it's pumping water from the ocean into the toilet. Well, it was meant to, but it weren't going in the toilet, it was going where it shouldn't go. I don't know. Something happened and his boat sunk basically. Luckily, it was in like a little, what they call it, it's called Pooh Bay. People that live on the Gold Coast know exactly what I mean. And the water there's quite shallow. It's about, I don't know, 6 foot deep max where his boat was, so it's basically sunk and sat on the bottom. We managed to pump it out and it was all right at the end of the day, just a bit damp. Yeah, massive learning curve. Anyway, let's connect some wires up to my water pump. So I'm going to use this 12 gauge wire. I'm going to run 2 feeds from my fuse box underneath my worktop and up to this area here. One feed is going to be purely for my water pump and the other feed purely for the lights. They're going to end up getting attached to these. These lights I've got in my van are only 1 amp each, so 12 gauge wire for three lights, including the shower one, 4 lights. That's 4 amps. this is plenty thick enough to run those. And the switches that I'm going to use, if I can find them, what I'll do with them. Bear with. I'm really excited about these switches. These are actually domestic switches, but take a look at these. Shall I show you? Yeah, I'm busting to show you. Look at them. Beauties. Now these did have an earthing connector on the back here, but I've ripped that off so that these will go flush against the plywood. I think they're going to look great. And I've got two of these. So these three will be for my lights inside here. And on the other panel, one will be for the water pump, the other two will be for one light in the bathroom and one light above the kitchen. And again, both those lights are just going to be LEDs, so really low draw. Yeah, so 6 switches. I think that's all I need, 6. Okay, so I've decided all I'm going to do is use this 12 gauge wire. I'm going to run 2 feeds from my fuse box underneath the worktop and up to where my control panel is going to be. I only need 2 feeds. One of them is going to be for the water pump, the other one's going to be for the lights. And because I'm using these LED strips, they're only 1 amp each. I've got 3 in the living space, 1 in the shower cubicle. 12 gauge wire is going to be plenty for 4 amps, I know that for sure. Now the switches I'm going to use, I'm loving this brass rustic steampunk vibe. Look at these brass switches, absolutely love these. These are actually domestic switches. I know you're not supposed to use AC switches for DC current because the contacts are different and all that, but we're talking low voltage, low watts here. I'm sure they'll be perfectly fine. And I've got 2 of these panels, so it gives me 6 switches. 3 for the interior lights in the living space. The other panel I'm going to have 1 for the water pump, as we discussed earlier, and the other 2 will be 1 for the kitchen, 1 for the shower. So 6 is plenty, and these are going to be up here on a wooden panel. I think they're going to look great. Right, let's run these cables. Now I'm not going to be able to film this, but if I did film it, all you'd see is the back of my head. So I'll get back to you once I've got these cables in place. And then, oh yeah, what about the lights above the bed area? I forgot about that. I'm going to need another 2 switches. Oh, bugger. I forgot about them. Oh, and that one there, above the seating area. I'll need another bank of switches. I just realised. Right. I forgot where I got these from. Bugger. So I've been busy running the cables for my water pump. I've run cables for the lights. I've marked them all up. It's all up there. Looks a little bit messy, I know, but then there you are. It is what it is. Now my water tank is underneath here. A lot of people said to me, why have you put your water tank inside the van? Why didn't you put your water tank up underneath the van? Well, believe it or not, there's not that much room underneath this van. There's a lot of, what's the word? Running gear and air pipes and air tanks and all sorts and so on and so forth. And this is a 200 litre water tank. It fits perfectly between the 2 wheel arches that are underneath here. And it just made sense to have this water tank directly above the rear axle so that the weight is evenly distributed between the 2 back wheels. Does that make sense? It's bang in the middle of the van basically. So that's why I put the water tank inside the van. Also, it gets cold here in the winter and I didn't want to risk having 200 litre ice cube underneath the van in the winter time. So it's inside the van, it's insulated. I know it's not going to freeze. It's nicely central for the weight distribution. And for me, it just made perfect sense to put it inside the van. It's not as if I haven't got enough space in here after all. There's plenty of room, more room than I need. Well, I should hope so anyway. Now I have fitted a level gauge on this water tank. First time I've ever fitted one of these. I clearly don't know what colour wires go where. I'm guessing, yeah, I'm just going to have to guess this. Does it matter which way round these go? Because it says on the instructions for the water gauge, it's just got 1 wire. And one of these goes to earth and I think it was the blue one, goes to one of the gauges. Yeah, it's very complicated. It's only 2 wires, how complicated can it be, right? Anyway, I'm going to guess the brown wire is the live, the blue wire is the neutral. So we're going to put red to brown, black to blue. And to connect these up, I'm going to be using my little favourite connectors, which are these soldering tube things. There's like a, put my hand there, it should focus. It's like a heat shrink with a bit of solder in the middle. Really easy to use. I know a lot of people don't like these, but for something like this, very low current, pretty much no amps at all, I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. Now, what did I say? Yeah, brown. It's called a brown one live. It's got a pre-soldered tip on it as well, so this is going to be really easy to connect up. Like that. Get our heat gun. And it's as simple as that. Whoops. Don't drop the lid. There we go. That little bead of solder just melts and joins the wires together. Eventually. This heat gun does sound like it's on its last legs, I'll be honest. It's a cheap one off Amazon I could find, and I think on the packet it said not for industrial use. It is literally a hobby toy. Hobby tool rather, not a toy. Although most of my tools are toys. So. Oh, there we go, it's melting. I wouldn't use these on any high voltage stuff though. I think I said that in the last video. Pretty sure I filmed myself using these before. I'm getting that deja vu feeling. So if you're getting that deja vu feeling as well, it probably means I have filmed this before. Using this thing. Like I say, I've never used a water gauge before. Usually when the pump stops pumping water, that's an indication that I've run out of water. So, I want a nice good soldered joint on these wires because it is a gauge. If there's any resistance in the wires, in the join, it will affect the gauge, the accuracy of it anyway. Right, that's done. I'm hoping this bit of wire is long. I'm scraping the barrel as far as this black and red wire is concerned. Let's move those. Shut this lid because I'll tip these out all over the place a little while ago. I've learnt that lesson well. Put that through there. And that is it. That's all we need under there. Brilliant. Right. Thread this wire through. Actually, one of these has got to go to the earth. One of them goes to the gauge itself. Via that little hole down there. It's all technical stuff. It's definitely the most high-tech van I've ever built. Because it's got a water gauge. That makes it high-tech, right? So now I'm looking at the instructions. I'm that desperate. Although there's a lot of wires, it is quite simple actually. It's just making sure these wires are round the right way. So, because I don't know if these wires are round the right way on my water gauge, I'm going to connect it all up before I cut these wires to length. Because I don't want to cut these to length. I don't want to put the black one to neutral and then run this red one up, cutting the black one short to do so if they're round the wrong way. So I'm going to go ahead, connect these up, make sure it works before I cut these wires, because it's going to have to dangle a bit while I do that. Where's my screwdriver gone? It might be long enough not to dangle. Actually, if I shut this lid, it'll be a lot easier. Come on, man, sort your workspace out. Move the light. There we go. Just shut the cable end there. Oh dear. Light on it. Right, now I've got a nice work surface. I can rest that on there and connect it to the fuse board. Mind your knees, and we'll be right. There's no fuse in the fuse board yet, so I can connect this all up, and then when I'm happy it's in the right place, I'll put a fuse in it and see if it works. I'll be amazed if it does, actually. I'm that confident. Yeah, I've no confidence at all in this, because I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not afraid to admit it. That's connected up. Put that to a live. There is no fuse in this, so it's not live yet. And what was this one? Which one was it? Was it the blue one I could go on to? Blue signal wire. The signal is the blue wire. I'm simply going to twiddle these together. Nothing fancy. Just twiddle them together like that. And then we'll get a fuse. See what happens. See if it works. Where are my fuses gone? Oh, let's put a spanner in the works. Oh, here they are, all over the floor. 7.5 amps, that'll do. Let's put this in. Hold your ears. Usually when I do stuff like this, things go bang. Ah, yes, it works. It says I've got half a tank. It actually works. Right, now I know it works, I'll go ahead, cut all the wires and put them all into place. Getting a lot of cables now. It's starting to look a bit complicated, I know, but it's not. It's not as bad as it looks. Here we go. We'll thread that through there. Get out of the way. This one really wants to get in the way. Now that end's connected up, all I simply need to do now is connect this end to the fuse board, and then there's no reason why the water gauge shouldn't work now. It will actually work if I put a fuse in. Right, all the connections are made, so all I need to do now is plug this in, put the fuse back in, and it should work. I can't believe, right, I'm actually fitting a water gauge in a campervan into a 200 litre water tank as well. When I very first started this van life journey, when I had my Sprinter, I was so piss poor broke and in so much debt, I actually used refillable fire extinguishers for a water tank. There's no water pump involved. Literally, I'll take the top off the fire extinguisher, fill it up with water, reseal it, and then use a pump, like a tyre inflator, put air pressure into that fire extinguisher, connect it up to a tap, and that was my water. And I was so chuffed with myself when I come up with that idea. I'll see if I can find a clip and add it to this video at the end. Alright. Yeah, I was so chuffed as well. And here I am, 6 years later, fitting a gauge, a water gauge. Right, let's see if it works. Put this fuse back in. There we go. It actually works. Fantastic. It actually works. It says I've got half a tank. Where's the other half gone? Because I'm pretty sure I filled this tank up with water when I brought it here to get the height down so that it was heavy. Mind you, yeah, I've checked the shower out, haven't I? I've done all sorts of plumbing. I had the calorifier, that was empty, but I filled that up. So yeah, it's probably about right. But I will fill this tank right up to the brim, and hopefully that does go to the full mark. It should do. Yeah, we'll find out how accurate this is over time, I guess. Right. Well, that's me wiring all in place. It's taken a little longer than I thought it would. It is starting to get a little bit dark now. No idea what the time is. So I'm going to end this video here, and we'll finish off all of this woodwork another day. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this video mildly entertaining, slightly informative. If you did, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you when I finally get around to finishing this wall off. Ta-ra for now.